All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Generation to Generation Cowboys and Sports Talks. I'm the host, DJ. I tell you what, I'm joined with my co-host, my dad, Capricorn One, aka Cowboy Joe 64. And today, we're coming back. It's the third day since the end of the season, and so we're just gonna chop it up a little bit about some of the things that I think is we think is going on. I wanted to get into what I call the Cowboys three-headed monster, which is Will McClay, Steven, and Jerry, and the dynamic of how the organization is ran. So you all sit back and check us out. I'm gonna run this intro, and then we'll be back and we'll chop it up for a little bit. Generation Cowboys and Sports Talk. My dad, my partner, my co-host, Cowboy Joe 64.
I am your father.
Just to get the Cowboys two good games to hopefully understand that they need to go receiver and go high with this next pick.
Yeah, yeah, that's really what this is gonna be about. All right, all right. Did you hear that and everything went good with that? Did you hear the intro?
I did. It's a little choppy, but I can hear it.
All right. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about today. I kind of wanted to talk about this three-headed monster that we got going on. Um, you know, what I was noticing today, I did a short video on our YouTube earlier. And what I was talking about was you know, when you look at the NFL transaction counter and you look at all of the head coaching hirings and all of the GM firings, and you look at all of the offensive coordinator hirings and firings, things like that. It's just mighty strange that you never ever see the Cowboys on this list because they never hire and interview people like they should. They don't follow the correct hiring practices. So um, we don't ever have any turnover at the GM position. And for those who don't know, it is in my opinion that the Cowboys, they have a general manager, but it consists of three people. The three-headed monster. It consists of Jerry, Steven, and Will McClay. Those are the three guys that are delegated to handle the general manager responsibilities as far as the Dallas Cowboys go. And you got Will McClay, who's the pro scout. And he's a very important figure in the organization. You have Jerry, who is the face of the brand, who is the owner of the team, and who is the face of the brand, and he does a few wild card things here and there. Then you have Steven, who is Jerry's son, who really runs the cap. He runs the numbers, the cap, and he also runs the draft, and he also runs free agency. And so they kind of have a system to where it's like checks and balances, and then the only person that can pull a wild card move really is Jerry. He's the one that can just do something behind everyone's back. But for the most part, when you look at the War Room film that they have out there, you can see that Will McClay is the one that they delegate to pro scouting. They delegate to who's good and who's not. They delegate him to pick players in the draft. And it's my opinion that he hasn't been good at that. He signed with the team in 2009, and I'm putting together a PowerPoint to where we're gonna analyze every pick that he's picked or while he was a pro scout, and just see what we grade him. But that's just my opinion. And then Steven, he's so-called running the cap, and then we call him Cap Boy because he be capping, and he don't really do good with the cap. The Cowboys are, the way that they do things are horrible. And so a lot of people, it's my opinion that we need to stop talking about Mike McCarthy and the coaches, and stop talking about Dak and all of the players, and we need to start focusing on the cream of the crop and the top of the organization that's really, really, really holding this team back, and that's really, really running the organization wrong. And everyone knows that you can't build a house from top up. The foundation has to be good and have to be sturdy first. You can't just build a house, and have a bad foundation. If the foundation is bad, everything is going to crumble. And so that's what the Cowboys' issue is. It's the foundation, which is the top of the organization, which is a three-headed monster that I'm calling it. So, what do you have to think? What's your opinion on that?
So, I was tweeting with one of the guys that I normally kind of communicate with today, well, a couple of guys in the cowboy content creation world, and they were saying that a couple of years back, there were some teams that wanted to talk to Will McClay, and he turned them down. So, his contract is up. So we're gonna see if, he gets out there and starts talking to other teams, or if he, renews his contract. But it's a really interesting setup that they have. It's no other organization that's ran that way. So he sort of is the general manager, but he's not. Steven and Jerry carry that title. They haven't given him that title the whole time that he's been here. And then also what I was tweeting with my guy was that it was his understanding too that the Trey Lance trade, Will McClay didn't have anything to do with that. That was Jerry by himself. So when we start talking about this three-headed monster, as you talk about, they are unique. It's no other team that's doing that. And it may just be one of the reasons we don't have a NFC Championship game in 29 years. So how's my audio? Am I breaking up?
Breaking up a little bit, but it's okay. You can keep going.
Am I breaking up a little bit?
Yeah, but just keep
It,
going. It's not that
it
bad.
might be the weather.
It
Uh,
is.
okay, so but yeah, that the three-headed monster that you're talking about is unique, and no other team has that, and we may just be seeing the results of that with the way things are just not working out.
Yeah, I mean, and so this is like you said, it is unique to the Cowboys, but we can pretty much just um we can kind of if you pay attention to Cowboys Nation, you can sift through these things and you can figure these things out. You can see who's making what decision, and when you look at what the general manager is supposed to do in an organization, you can see that the Cowboys don't have a specific person that's doing that, and it's three people. It's Jerry, it's Steven, and it's Will McClay. So, you know, any other team in the league, I promise you, if they went 29 years without making a playoff run and getting past the second round, the GM would be fired. There is no question about it. These GMs have 2 or 3 years to run this thing. And that it's just unfortunate that we don't have anyone in that pool. We don't have guys that, it's people that literally that's what their job is. Their job is that they go to school or they go to some kind of form of training. They go through some kind of form of study, of education in order to manage an organization, general manage an organization. We don't have any of those people. Over the last 29 years, it's probably 3,000 of those people that I just said that go to school or that go to get education or that get taught just to do this job. And in 29 years, we haven't seen one of them, not one, because our general manager has been Jerry Jones. So, you know, it when it's coming down to the point to where it's just like, okay, as long as Jerry and Steven and Will McClay is doing this right here, I'm thinking that, you know, our backs up against the wall. So
Yeah,
what do you
and
think about that?
I mean, so again, what I would say about Jerry and Steven is will give them this. Over the years, what they've done is they've relied on coaches to kind of serve in that role. Rob Marinelli for 3 or 4 drafts, he was the de facto general manager. He basically came in and told them who to pick and who they wanted. So he wanted Taco instead of TJ Watt, so they deferred to him. Then he followed that up. He wanted Tristan Hill. Tristan Hill would play for UCF, he wasn't
Mm-hmm.
even a starter. He had gotten benched during his last season there. So Rob
Mm-hmm.
Marinelli came into the draft room and said, "I want that player," and then he went down and did some kind of personal contract with him. Um, and so Dan Quinn, they deferred to Dan Quinn. That's how you got Nashawn Wright. That's how you got Kelvin Joseph. So the other thing that's unique about this three-headed monster is there are times when they're really just hands off. They let coaches pick players, and that's kind of a dangerous thing. And shout out to Jeff Kavanaugh. He's been talking about this for years. Why you should never ever let coaches pick players, because when you do that, what happens when the coach leaves? And so we're seeing that affect our franchise as well. So you know again, it's just not something that's happening across the league. It's a lot of inefficiencies with the way they do things, and it's showing. That's how you get players um, that come in, and there's really no agreement on the franchise, and even with the coaches themselves on what the player is or what he can do. And we kind of seeing that with Tyler Guyton. They
Mm-hmm.
drafted Tyler Guyton, and the O-line coach and McCarthy, they really didn't want to play him.
Mm-hmm. And and that was clear because Mike McCarthy even came out and he said that. Mike McCarthy said that in one of his interviews. He said that if what's the name wouldn't have got hurt, he was going to be the starter. He said that. He said that what's
Yeah,
his name?
yeah.
That was going to be the starter if he didn't get hurt. He said that out his
Chuma,
own mouth. Yeah, Chuma. He said Chuma because they asked him, well, no, what do you think
yeah.
about how good Chuma played? And he said, well, Chuma was a good, is good, and he was going to be the starter if he wouldn't have got hurt. So that lets you know that they would have drafted Mozzie, and well, I mean not Mozzie, but they would have drafted Tyler Guyton without him even a first round pick, without him even being able to start. Now I want to show you this. I want to show everybody this because I always talk about it, but I never find it, and I found it. So this is what I'm talking about. I want to show everybody this, and this is just for it's fair use. So we can play it. Can you
We
hear
have
that
one and
playing?
two together.
Could you hear that?
I can.
Okay.
I could, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna rewind it. You can hear this right here.
I'm ready to take the nose call. I mean, we have a one and two together.
You got 2
Yes.
minutes.
Okay.
Let's get warmed up.
Well, who would you take?
Personally, I would go with Mozzie because I know that he helps us now with the guard. I love the guard too. My question is, you're adding something to it where we have depth. I think the defensive lineman gives you an immediate starter and something for the future.
I am cut through. We missed one of those two guys after having them both here in our hands.
We're better on the line of scrimmage with either one of these guys. We've had offensive linemen there. We've had the opportunity to pick them. We've not had a defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman that high in quite some time.
We're good. Let's keep on the phone.
They picked me.
Mozzie,
Hello? Yo,
what's happening, baby?
what's up, man?
Hey, I got somebody that wants to talk to you, my man. Hold
Yes,
on
sir.
1 second.
Yes, sir.
Is this Mozzie?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of the dynamic of what we have, what happened with Mozzie. Now, why they were trying to figure out who to pick between him and Matthew Bergeron. Now, what do you think about that? What would have happened if they would have picked Matthew Bergeron?
So Matthew Bergeron right now will be your starting left guard. Excuse me, your starting right guard for probably the next 5, 6, 7 years. He will be starting for Zach Martin. And so, that's what happened there. And the other thing that was interesting about that draft is somebody in the organization, they wanted a tight end. They talked about the tight end going into that draft, which was kind of weird at the time. And so just someone just decided they wanted a tight end, and I think they reached and took a tight end when they didn't really to a goal maker. So again,
Okay, yeah, you kind of broke
talk
up.
about happening forward. Just the boys board in general.
Mm-hmm.
When they put the just haven't done a good job. Or it doesn't look like the Niners, but the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Right,
The
right.
Cowboys. And I talked about this yesterday on this show too, where he talked about the last couple of drafts, how he's put them behind the 8 ball, and it really just comes down to the board. The last 2 drafts, the board just wasn't good.
Mm-mm. It wasn't. And then, so check this out. So this is what you were just
So
talking about. This is what
was
you
I
were just
breaking
talking
up?
about. Yeah, you was. But this is what you were just talking about. So when you look at this right here, this was their board, okay? And this was their board, and this was that year. So on their board during that year, you see that McCarthy wanted a tight end, okay? Somebody in the organization wanted a tight end, and we felt like they reached for the tight end in that round. But you could see that on this tab right here, this is their board. This is their official board. You can see that Schoonmaker was a 4th-round target on their board. This says it right there. He was a 4th-round target on their board. Now look at Jonathan Mingo. Jonathan Mingo was a 4th-round target on their board right here. Lamar Overshawn was a 4th-round target on their board right here. So this just lets you know how jacked up their board is, because you shouldn't have Overshawn as a 4th-round target, number one. And then if you have Overshawn as a 4th-round target, why would you draft him in the 2nd round? That doesn't make sense. And then if you have Luke Schoonmaker, they drafted Overshawn in the 3rd round. So if you have Luke Schoonmaker as a 4th-round target, why would you reach way back from the 2nd round and draft him? And also, you have Mozzie Smith as a 2nd-round target. So all of these picks, regardless of who was here or not, because it's people like Jahmyr Gibbs, he went in the 1st round. All of these players, their board was jacked up from the jump.
So do we know how Steve Avila and Drew Sanders turned out? I haven't heard a whole lot about them.
No, I haven't heard a lot about them either. Steve Avila, let's see. He plays for the Rams.
Where's Bergeron on here?
I guess he's not on here.
Yeah. So
they in here talking about Matthew Bergeron, and he ain't even on their board. I don't see him.
Yeah. So the bottom line is, and it kind of panned out. It was some rumors about Kansas City trying to take Mozzie. I'm not really sure I bought into that. That was probably a lot of times what we hear about a lot of these players and coaches too. It's the agents that are talking. Mm-hmm. But and then if you go back and look at last year's draft, if you can pull that one up, the consensus too from a lot of people that's looking at the draft is that you had the same sort of thing happening with the last draft with Tyler Guyton. There was a lot of questions about Tyler Guyton. We talked about it before. Vach Lombardi, who's one of the great content creators, who he's one of the offensive line czars as far as evaluating linemen. And all the way up to the draft, it was just talk about the Cowboys drafting Tyler Guyton. And there were just literally just dozens of people telling, the content creators are talking about Guyton, saying you should not draft this player where they're talking about drafting him, because first of all, you're going to move him from the right to the left, which is not good. And so for the most part, everything that the content creators and draftniks said about Tyler Guyton has panned out. They talked about his feet not being good, his hands not being good, his lack of physicality, the kind of competition he played. So it's it actually panned out.
I'm looking at all of these picks after, and I'm not looking at any specific position, but I'm just looking at all these picks after Tyler Guyton, and they all would be starters on our team. Ricky Pearsall would be a starter. He would be your second receiver right now. So would Xavier Leggett, even though he's a big goofy receiver. He'd be your second receiver right now. Keon Coleman would definitely be your second receiver right now. Lad McConkey would be 1A. I mean, would be 1B. I had him on my fantasy, and he was the best. He was the best receiver for the.
Look at Keon Coleman.
That's why I said Keon Coleman would definitely be one B. Lad McConkey would be 1B. Um, Jalen Polk would be your second receiver. Tavondre Sweat would be starting as a defensive tackle. Cooper DeJean would be starting as a cornerback. Kool-Aid McKinstry would be starting as a cornerback. Jackson Powers Johnson will be your right guard. Adrian Cooper would be starting on this team right next to Overshawn. Jonathan Brooks got hurt, but
so go back up to Tyler Guyton.
you see him?
Yeah. So yeah, can you see our second round? Who do we get in? Let's look at our second and third round if we can do that. But
Our second
yeah,
round.
so
Our second round
we're
was
gonna just start looking at.
Marshawn Nealon.
Okay, so he was taking 56. Let's see who went
Yeah.
after him. And Nealon, you know, jury is still out. I think Nealon is a better player than Guyton. Nealon is going to be solid. He had the knee injury, but in this round, we probably need to look at the running backs that they passed on. I don't know how Trey Benson ended up doing.
He ended up being okay. He was behind the Cardinals. The guy that they had, the Cardinals has a starter that was pretty good, so he was behind him, but he did pretty good. He'll be a starter on our team.
So Marshawn Nealon, that's a much better pick than some of the picks that they've had over the years. Now we know Cooper Beebe is going to end up being a good player. So your second and third round, and then Fehoko was your fourth round.
Yeah. Didn't even see the field at all. Or did we not have a fourth round?
I think we had 2 3s. So I think your second, third round pick was
Cooper Beebe. Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't Fehoko. It was Leo Fowl.
Yeah, Leo Fowl. So you picked. So yeah, we had Leo Fowl, and he's in here somewhere. Let's see. Cooper Beebe is 73 right here. He's gonna be a good player. And then Morris Leofow, which Leofow, I'll give him. I'll say he played at like an average rookie linebacker. So I'm not gonna give him a bad grade because I feel like he did what he was supposed to do. But he doesn't jump off the screen. When you have other players out here, like this is hindsight, so we know what these guys ended up being. But now that I'm looking at this one, I would have took Javon Baker. I liked him out of college. So I'm looking for Bucky Irving. That's who I'm looking for. That's who we. Yeah.
So Bucky Irving, the thing about Bucky Irving, that was the pick that we had that we traded for Trey Lance. That was the thing with that one. Yeah. So I think the issue with this draft too is you probably should have took Bucky Irving with one of those picks, and he ended up being a really good player. And then go to the year before that. Can you pull up the prior year?
Yeah.
And then one thing we're going to talk about too, we're going to just talk about their overall drafting the last few years, talk about their their free agent signings, We got to look at that draft that had Josh Ball, Kelvin Joseph, Matt Walesko. That's the one that's killing us. So this draft
See,
here, that's the one we took Mozzie, and as we said,
they wanted
yeah,
Dalton
and let
Kincaid, but
Dalton Kincaid win before Mozzie. That was the tight end that we really, yeah. So if you go down through here, this is where you're gonna see Matthew Bergeron. Somebody picked him, or did he go before?
nah, he
The
didn't go
other player that we
before.
passed up on in this round, uh,
Joey Porter
the
Jr.
other
and
player
Sam
that we passed
Laporta.
up on this round, yeah, definitely was better options there than Mozzie. And then there's Bergeron. If you keep going back down, he's right down there. Okay, so that's Bergeron right there. Um, then you see Jonathan Mingo right there, who hasn't really panned out. So this draft right here, when you start looking at this draft, this is the one that I think really got us. Um, I still say right now, and we're gonna let it all play out. Look at Brian Branch right there. That would have been just a tremendous pick. Um,
That would have been a tremendous
I
pick.
think
PJ Ojolari would have been a tremendous pick.
I
Uh,
think Mozzie got better and Schoon got a little better. If I had to just guess right now, yeah. So this draft right here, I think this is the one that really kind of put us behind the eight ball. Rasheed Rice is right there. Now look at this one. You drafted Schoon right here. This was a complete reach. The player that went right after him will be your other starting right guard. So Osiris Torrance should have been the pick right here. You didn't take Bergeron when you took Mozzie, so you just drop down and then you take your starting right guard and Osiris Torrance. So right now your team, you would have Osiris Torrance instead of Schoonmaker. And then who was our third round pick in this draft? I'm curious to see what ended up happening with Drew Sanders. So where are we at in this third round? I think the third round was Overshawn, was it?
Yeah. So we did good right there.
So yeah, and there was some talk that they were gonna look at Overshawn in the second round, but just go back in that second round instead of taking Schoon, take Osiris Torrance or A Chain. If you take A Chain, we're balling. You got A Chain, and you have Rico. That's a nice backfield. Or just
Now
take
you want
Osiris Torrance, and you got your starting right guard.
or you wanted a tight end so bad, you take Sam Laporta.
Yeah, and go down to the fourth round. I think the fourth rounder is Fihoko. He never made the team. Yeah, there he is. So in the fourth round, you took Vladimir Fihoko. He never suited up. I don't even know if he's still in the league. So let's see who went after him. No one stands out. So we were at the bottom of the fourth.
Yeah. Yeah, no one stands out. Noah Sewell, that's my guy. I would have took him.
Now I don't know what's his status either. If
Me
he,
neither. But nah, I don't know anybody down here.
And then let's just do one last one. Go the year before that. So what we want to do in our next few shows, we just gonna go all the way back and start looking at all of these drafts that they've had. So we going back to 22, so we can stop on 22 for tonight. And then what we got to do too, we got to pull up their free agents that they signed for these years.
That's gonna be bad.
So
this
22,
is Micah. This is ain't this no, who is this? This is not Micah draft. This is Tyler Smith. Okay,
so yeah, we nailed that one. And stop right there on Tyler Smith. Here's what I would say about Tyler Smith. What the Cowboys need to do in this upcoming draft, they need to stick with players that jump off the screen. When you watch highlight film, you're not watching their highlight film and you're still saying to yourself, this can be a highlight film. That's what I saw when I watched Mozzie. When I watched Schoon, I kept saying to myself, I'm not actually seeing highlights. Your highlight film should be like your jump off the screen plays. They never had that. Now, when I watched Tyler Smith, even though we knew he was the most penalized lineman in college football, one of the most penalized, you could watch his highlight film and he was just pancaking people. He was dominating. He was smoking people. You
Just
could
like
just
Cooper
see it.
BB. Just like Cooper BB. Cooper BB, you can
Exactly.
watch his highlight film and you be like, oh my God.
Yeah. So when you watch Mozzie, when you watch Tyler Guyton, when you watch Schoon, you just didn't see that. And all of the draft people, content creators that was watching film, they were saying the exact same thing. Schoon wasn't even on anybody's list.
He wasn't. He was like number 100 on Tankathon.
Yeah. So what they have to do, they have to figure out a way to get this front office, the scouts. They can't keep drafting players that when you draft them, you're bringing them in and you're saying they need 3 years to develop because Dak doesn't have that kind of time. Go down. Who was our second round pick here?
And then we're UT fans, so we knew Overshawn. Overshawn was the best player on their team the whole time he was there.
Yeah, he was. He
So
he was a highlight film.
you just have to watch him. He's a highlight film. Who was our second round pick in this year? We was at the bottom.
Yeah, you got to go down some more. There you go. Go back up. It was Sam.
Oh, that was a good pick. I mean, you got Troy Anderson here, who I liked. That's the guy. James Cook.
That's Dalvin Cook's brother. He's a nice player. He played for Buffalo.
Yeah, and you got Nick Benito. I wasn't really high on him in the draft, but I mean, he obviously did good because he's an All Pro.
Yeah. So go down. So Sam, the jury's still out. He just haven't. He's another example of they drafted a player and just for whatever reason they just didn't let him play a lot. He had to put the video out there, free Sam Williams. He put that out himself. So it's like they didn't really put him out. Now here's Jalen Tolbert in the third round. I think Tolbert has been solid as a fourth receiver, but that's it. So we can look at who was on the board. Now Kirby Joseph.
Man, Kirby Joseph and Brian Robinson Jr. Man. Yeah. That's man.
Kirby Joseph will be our starting center right now.
Oh man. And then you got Majai Sanders too. Man. And Channing Tindall.
So let's see who we got in the fourth.
They messed up on that. Cade Otton, Damon Pierce. They messed up on that. Perrion Winfrey. They messed up.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Jake is your fourth round pick. So solid pick.
Oh yeah, no. Great pick.
A lot of people are down on Jake Ferguson this year. I don't understand why. Because Dak is out. So I think
Mr. Dangerous.
Yeah, I think when Dak comes back next year, I think Jake Ferguson will get right back on track. I mean, I do.
Oh yeah, no, he will definitely will.
Now,
I mean,
let me say this: we do need another tight end, and we don't have our second tight end that we need, or our 1B tight end. I don't believe he's on the roster now. I had a lot of hope for Stevenson.
Yeah,
John Stevens. Came back and had the devastating injury. I really believe he would have been your second tight end. I just don't
let him play.
I just don't feel that Schoon and Brevin Span forward, to me, they're just average. I mean, they're just average to me.
And that's saying a lot for Schoon to be average because for a moment there, he was out of there.
Yeah, and he had to come in and actually play and kind of step up a little bit, and he did good over a couple of games. But my thing is, I've watched 3 or 4 games down the stretch. I couldn't even tell you if Schoon was active. Didn't even know if he was on the field. I didn't see it.
Our fifth is Matt Walesko.
Then this is a bust. don't even know why he's still on the team. Who went after him? Anybody that stands out that we could have grabbed?
Kyron Williams. He's an all-pro running back. Now we got Deron
So
Bland
Kyron
after
Williams
that.
would be he might be starting over Rico.
Ain't no might about that, and he would be starting over Rico.
He's a really nice back.
Yeah, ain't
He
no
played
doubt
for the
about that.
Rams.
Yeah, ain't no doubt about that. He would be starting over Rico. You don't have to question that.
Now look at your other 5th round pick.
Yeah, Deron Bland.
So your other 5th round.
Yeah, you breaking up, and then
I
you
think you
got.
kind of wrote. I think yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and wrap up after this too. We've been on for about 35 minutes. That's cool.
Yeah, and I think the weather is messing with our internet and stuff.
Yeah, we having a freeze out in Dallas. Now Damone Clark straight up bust.
Yeah, Damone Clark. At the end of the day, he really ended up not being a good player. They should have kept John Ridgeway.
Don't know why they let him go. He would be a good rotational piece right now.
Yeah.
Jalen Naylor. That's a good pick for them.
Mm-hmm.
Devin Harper. I don't know why they let him go.
Yep.
But yeah, that's probably it on that.
So yeah, let's go ahead and wrap because we're having some weather issues, and we'll probably just come back on. We'll probably do a show. Let some of this weather clear out. Maybe we'll just do it. Maybe we'll do a recorded show tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So yeah, y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and go follow us on all platforms. I did post some videos on Facebook today. Posted one on our YouTube channel too. So y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Let's see. We had Wisconsin Eagles fan. They messed up on that. Pretty much describes the Cowboys franchise in general. So we got Eagles fans talking trash, and they gonna lose in the first round. So, but yeah, y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and y'all make sure y'all like the YouTube. Y'all make sure y'all like the TikTok. I posted on both today. I posted on TikTok. I posted on the YouTube. I posted on the Facebook. So y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and we're gonna do a recorded show on the next one, and that way we can kind of curtail some of this weather.
And we'll go live Saturday.
Yeah. So what games do we got coming up? We got a game tonight.
Got Penn State and Notre Dame, and tomorrow is Texas and Ohio State. So we might be able to do something after the Texas Ohio State game. We'll see. We
got a move going up against Colin.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see what's going on. So y'all, shout out to Colin Simmons and shout out to UT. We hoping that University of Texas. We gonna know they're gonna get the win tomorrow. So shout out to them, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Peace.